A player who's all fired up and geared up and ready to go, and then you've been delayed as they have been to this point.
I don't think it has any effect. I think these guys are so jacked, ready to go. Because, you know, Greg, when you go into a game, you got so much stuff on the blackboard, things players do well, things teams do well. You have a lot of things going on in your mind. So you don't have time to worry about any distractions.
Well, it's a tournament setting, Greg, and so they're accustomed to this, meaning could have been an overtime game that delayed it, had to stay ready, be ready. That's the motto in this kind of scenario. Stay ready and be ready.
Let's talk about the kind of game you expect. Michigan.
I've talked about it all night, just how good these teams are defensively. Both of them are in the top three in any defensive categories you want to look at in terms of defensive efficiency, field goal percentage defense, three-point defense. All of that is top three between these two teams, so it comes down to where you're going to find your offense. And I think Charles Matthews is going to be a key guy. He's been terrific in the tournament thus far. For Michigan, he's a guy who can get shots in the flow of the offense or late in the shot clock. And Jared Culver is a similar type player who does everything for Texas Tech.
I was going to ask you, Jared Culver's got to be the guy if Texas Tech is going to do it.
They run a ton of offense through him. Matt Moody is solid as a backcourt ball handler. Davide Moretti has been excellent in the tournament. He's not made a three yet, but he's averaging 11 points a game and is capable from the three-point line. He shoots 42% on the season, but has really struggled in the tournament, so he might be due for a breakout.
So they are getting set to tip Texas Tech and Michigan. The winner will play Gonzaga. And as we said, until we get our guys on the scene back, Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller, Dan Bonner, Dana Jacobson, we will see if we can give you an idea of what's happening.
Yeah, we'll take a stab at it. We've called hoops before, Greg.
And this will be a battle of who can score more frequently.
Yeah, and efficiently.
Because both teams will lock you down. You got to go to plan A and B. You got to go to B and C. You got to go to B and C. And here they are.
Yeah, that's Jared Culver. This is the matchup, Kenny. Jared Culver and Charles Matthews matched up against each other.
And the first shot from the Texas Tech Raiders.
Yeah, Matt Mooney.
You know, when you play against a good defensive team, the thing you have to do is be patient. Don't rush. That's the key. I know that sounds simple, but sometimes you just get impatient. But sometimes the other team wins. They make you make tough shots and things like that.
And the good thing about that, Charles, is their defense isn't making you rush. They're not trapping you. They're just playing straight man-to-man help and recover defense, as you see the help there. Great pickoff.
Charles Matthews lost the ball.
That's Moretti here, keeping it alive, and Jared Culver, top scorer for the Red Raiders. And Odiase on that board, he had a double-double in the win against Buffalo. 14 big rebounds.
We talk about a man. Odiase is a man.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Not a college athlete. He's a man.
Wide open from three on the far side. Doesn't fall. Who has the advantage on the boards in this game?
Right now, it's Texas Tech. Both of these teams are good rebounding teams, though. Solid. Solid defense. Excellent defensively and solid on the glass, which is part of being a good defensive team, is rebounding the missed shots.
You know, Clark, it's interesting you say that because most people don't understand the key. One of the most important things about being a good defensive team is getting a defensive rebound.
That's the period on the sentence.
Yeah, if you keep letting them get offensive rebounds, you have to play defense 2 or 3 times.
Well, the last part of defense is rebounding.
That's what I just said. Don't repeat after me.
I
just said that.
I'm stealing my life.
Come on, man. You're going to repeat after me all night. I'm going to get paid twice. Jeez.
And if you look at Simpson, the pressure that he puts on the ball, you know, that also, just as much as he puts the pressure on you, he puts the pressure defensively as he does offensively.
Shot clock is under 10 at this point.
Tough shot.
And here come the Wolverines.
Hey, Charles, the last part of defense
is when you get to the rebound.
Okay, just let me know. And these high cuts and high post offense, your center has to be a good passer to find people.
That was beautiful. Yeah, Jordan Poole with the nice weak side cut. Nobody in the lane there. Everybody spaced out above the foul line, as Kenny said. And with a good passing center, that kind of opportunity is available.
Once again, they've suffered a power outage in Anaheim that we are working our way through.
Finish that. Hey.
Ooh, give me that.
John Teske, one of the most improved big guys in the country, with that block shot there from Michigan. Does a nice job moving his feet and walling up. Also impacts the ball. Oh, there's the hook from
Xavier Simpson.
That was kind of a half hook. That was a little bit more of a floater hook.
And jumping off the wrong foot.
Yeah, exactly. Good call, Kenny. He did go off the wrong foot there.
Tariq Owens guilty of the foul. By the way, there's just under 17 minutes remaining in the first half, and this game is tied at 2. Xavier Simpson have been watching us between games.
I didn't make one of them, so that is a shot that I would never have gone to. Kareem is somewhere laughing, going, oh, hook shot. Y'all think that's difficult?
You know, this hook and hold to me is one of the most interesting calls in college basketball. Because you technically could call that every trip up and down the court.
Well, when you were playing,
no,
you were a hook and holder.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, when guys are arm fighting.
Yeah, there's a lot of hand fighting and arm fighting that goes on in that paint for rebound.
Anytime you're trying to battle a guy for rebound,
this is what they're looking at. They're looking at the replay of this to determine underneath.
That happens.
There you see it.
That's just.
Oh, that was, yeah, that's a good look at it. But I think it was so quick and incidental that this might be deemed a no call. But the reason for the institution of the hook and hold emphasis is because it's a dangerous play from a player safety standpoint. So I think the officials on the season have done a really good job making it a point of emphasis, and players have adjusted to that.
Well, Clark, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
You looking at somebody separating a shoulder or something like that?
Yeah, or jerking an elbow, throwing a guy to the ground. Yeah, anything like that would create a problem.
I mean, because I don't
from
remember,
an injury standpoint.
Yeah, I don't like the fact where they give a guy 2 free throws on the ball. I think that's too penal.
Well, you know what? Sometimes if you can be fairly penal in the penalty and in the consequence, you have a better chance of eliminating that play and weeding it out of the game over time.
And I just don't know if you can.
But I think you can reduce it. I think you can reduce it. That would be a step in the right direction to reduce the number of those calls and plays. And that's happened this season, and I think it'll continue in the next year or two to where you won't see nearly as many reviews for the hook and hold, because we all know players adjust to whatever the rules are and how the game's going to be called eventually.
So Xavier Simpson will inbound the ball for Michigan. Again, this game is tied at 2.
Somebody went to sleep.
And underneath the 2.
That's what happened when you try to cheat over the pick.
Yeah. And oftentimes you'll see teams zone on those baseline out of bounds. Looks like Texas Tech.
One of my coaches said you should never score an out of bounds play. And we said, why, coach? He says, because you have 5 guys guarding 4.
Yeah.
5 guys.
The numbers are in your favor unless you go to sleep and don't communicate.
Wolverines with a 4-2 lead coming up on 16 minutes to play in the first half.
A solid defense here so far.
Late in the shot clock, 3-2 shot. This is what I'm saying. Without traps, Michigan makes you take tough shots in a half-court offense.
Yes, they do.
But like Clark said before the game, these are 2 great defensive teams. Can anybody score enough on the other team?
Rebound to Texas Tech. This is still a 4-2 game and saved on the far side by the Raiders.
If I'm Texas Tech, my goal would be to get some shots before the shot clock hits 15.
Well, not just that, Kenny. Run your fast break.
Secondary break.
Before run your fast break, then your secondary break, then run your offense if it doesn't work.
That one off the foot of Xavier Simpson, and that's where we'll take a timeout. 15:35 to play in our first half, where the Wolverines lead 4-2, and we'll be back.
From Anaheim, California, where we've had a major power outage in our truck. The building stayed lit. The game is lit. We are not lit.
Oh, speak for yourself, gentlemen.
But anyway, here we are. We have restored some power. We may not have every one of our 20 cameras and 10 tape machines, but we've got enough to get underway. As you see, Michigan is on top by 2. Michigan comes in the 2 seed. Texas Tech the 3 seed, and Dan Bonner, 2 terrific defensive teams.
And that's, I think, the story of the game. 2 terrific defensive teams. Michigan has already turned it over 3 times, and Reg, that can't help the cause.
Well, to me, it's a race to 50. Whoever can get to 50, nice block shot on the backside by Poole, but I think the body down low where he's going to pick up that foul. The first to 50 is going to win this ball game. We've got 2 outstanding teams defensively. Who can make bad shots, who can make free throws, and who can secure the basketball is going to come out on top.
At the free throw line is Davide Moretti, sophomore from Bologna, Italy. Son of a coach, and at the free throw line right now for the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. They were 28-6. They won the regular season in the Big 12 at 14-4, tied with K-State. Second straight year they've been a 3rd seed, went to the Elite 8 a year ago, and Dan, here is a Michigan team, number 2, 30-6 their record, 15-5 in the Big 10, and they are trying to get back to the Final Four where they were a season ago.
That's really interesting. I said they've turned it over 3 times already, and that obviously you can't do that against a really good defensive team. To have open shots, you've got to make a high percentage.
Raj Dinkus with a long shot will not go. Tariq Owens with trying to corral it and lost it for the Red Raiders and out of bounds off of Texas Tech.
Easy opportunity, fast break points. Because these defenses are so good in the half court, easy basket, second chance points, offensive rebounds, all going to be critical.
As Dinkus, the freshman, will curl and look for Teskey. It was deflected, and Mooney comes up with it. 4 turnovers for Michigan early. Very uncharacteristic of the Wolverines.
And this Texas Tech defense, Kevin, is designed to keep people out of the middle. So they try to push it to the sideline and push it to the baseline.
Mooney, the grad transfer, switch on defense. Shot clock down to 9. It's Brandon Francis outside, picked up by Simpson in to Culver. Through his hands, deflected by Michigan. Shot clock is at 3.
We are seeing an elite matchup here. You've got Charles Matthews guarding the best player offensively for the Red Raiders in Jarrett Culver. What a great matchup of offense versus defense.
Jarrett Culver, Reg, is one of the best offensive players in the country.
That you've never heard of. Just listen to this name. You're going to see him playing at the next level because he has all the skill set.
Leaping catch, fadeaway inside. Simpson got a hand on it. Shot clock violation. It's on Texas Tech and the defense there for Michigan.
So far, Reggie's saying the first one to 50. I'm not sure we're going to get there.
So the winner will take on the top seed in the West, Gonzaga. They just finished off Florida State.
What an ugly start offensively here for Texas Tech. 1 of 8 from the field, 0 of 2 from downtown.
Matthews, the center, Teskey, and out to the leading scorer on the Wolverines. And then almost thrown away. Moretti had the deflection. Simpson, the floater in the paint. Teskey with the rebound, crashing into Mooney. Kicks it outside. Brooks at 3. With a rebound retrieved by Teskey. He's got 4 rebounds already. Brock Dinkus with a 3. Barely grazes the iron. Picked up by Mooney.
Kevin, that's what I'm talking about. If you have open shots, you're not going to make them all, but you have to make a very high percentage in a game like this.
Corprew will take it inside. Knocked away by Teskey. Here comes Brooks. Off to Simpson. On the move. Met by Mooney. Hold on for Teskey. Climbing the ladder. Moretti was there, and that is a foul on the Red Raiders. And a foul on Davide Moretti, who will pick up his first.
Teskey already with 2 block shots defensively here from Michigan. And Moretti looked like he was just standing in the lane, and there's the contact that happened with Teskey.
Michigan is making their 3rd consecutive trip to the Sweet 16. Another 30-win season for them. They beat Montana, the 15 seed, then beat Florida in the round of 32, allowing only 49 points for Florida, a season low for the Gators. That was in Des Moines, and they're once again looking at the play.
Well, what John Beilein is saying is this is a shot attempt. And so he doesn't understand why it's not 2 shots. And I think what the officials are going over to look at is, did Moretti move underneath him? Is this a flagrant 1 foul?
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely not. It's borderline a foul.
But so John Beeline is upset. He thinks it should be a two-shot foul. Of course, you can't review that, but they're checking to see whether he moved under him or not.
Well, everything Gene Steratore falling apart here electronically, except you in New York. So we're going to send it to you and tell me, Gino, what you just saw.
We're good here in New York, Kevin, and I agree with Reggie. I don't think there's anything there that rises to the level of an F1. This player starts to back up, and he actually stops. He's not undercutting anyone whatsoever. And truthfully, the Michigan player's jumping forward to try to control that play and puts himself there. I wouldn't have a flagrant one on that play.
Gene, thank you. Our officials are James Breeding. He is in his 9th regional. Michael Irving in his 6th NCAA regional. And Larry Scarrato in his 2nd regional. Audrey Carr is our standby.
And common foul on Moretti.
Well, John Beeline is still not happy. He thought it should be a two-shot foul, but of course they can't.
Well, Teskey didn't have control of the basketball.
Isaiah Livers is check-in. The freshman Castleton is check-in. And inside the lane and fighting with the hook shot. With a miss right there is Xavier Simpson. And picked up by Jared Culver, the Big 12 Player of the Year. He'll drive. He'll take it in, slithering for 2.
He's got length, size, can handle the basketball, can shoot.
And he's a sophomore.
And he's young. And he's young.
He can just attack you in so many ways. You've got to stay in front of him. I think you have to take away his drive to the basket if you're going to take away anything.
Eli Brooks on top. Livers has been terrific. Inside Castleton. Double team knocked away inside. Corprew got a hand on it. He'll take it the other way for the Red Raiders out of the Big 12.
Well, that's a nice job by Corprew, rotating over and coming up with the block shot.
Culver drives the double. It's outside Corprew with the 2. Castleton tried to get it. Brooks finds it in his hands, and he goes the other way for the Wolverines. In the tournament, 4th consecutive year, and the 3rd 30-win season for Beeline in the last 6. Brooks got tangled up. Mooney hit the deck. Foul called on Mooney of Texas Tech.
Well, Castleton is in the game, and he is not a power guy, and it just takes him too long, and he's not strong enough. Corprew comes over, and he doesn't hardly have to jump. He just takes the ball out of Castleton's hands. So now the big guy comes back in. I think Corprew will have a harder time doing that against Teskey.
Teskey comes back in. Simpson will check out. Bring back in Poole, who will inbound. The Red Raiders beat Northern Kentucky by 15 and beat number 6 Buffalo in the 2nd round by 20. Buffalo had that 13-game winning streak, and they crushed them to get here to the Sweet 16 for a 2nd consecutive season.
Nice job defensively by Francis.
Shot clock at 5. Matthews twirls and finds the deuce.
Kevin, you mentioned Matthews and his defensive prowess, but he is also an excellent offensive player, particularly when he gets close to the basket. That's an outstanding play at the end of the clock.
And in the 2 games played up in Des Moines last weekend, shooting over 50%. This is a 3, and it's in and out, missed right there by Brandon Francis and picked up by Livers, and now it's off to Brooks. Eli Brooks is out of Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, and a sophomore for the Wolverines.
2 of 12, 0 of 3. For the Red Raiders.
Odiasi comes out on pull into Teskey. Caught it, shoved, foul. And they're surrounding him with red jerseys every time he touches the ball. Look at Matthews, ducking, driving off the glass for 2 for Michigan. One of the numbers you don't see there, 4 turnovers early by Michigan. They only turn it over 9 times a game. That's number 1 in college basketball. But one of the reasons why, guys, the defense. The defense of Texas Tech is as good as there is, as is Michigan. Look at those 3 schools, all a part of the Sweet 16.
Yeah, so maybe I was off on the Ralph Lawler's. You know, in the NBA, it's the race to 100. Lawler's Law. In college, I was saying 50. This might be, what, 35, 40?
Well, these guys are going to get it going. Both of these teams can play offense. They'll get it figured out.
Michigan is brought back in Simpson. Inbound goes to Matthews. Right there is Kyler Edwards right off the bench, and a nice feed inside and a good kick outside. Teskey, but
another
that
turnover. Number 5.
No one was there. The idea was good, but no one was.
The idea was very bad, Kevin. Teske needs to turn around and shoot that ball.
So you didn't agree with what I said?
No, he is
like a true big man.
He is 7'1". He's 2 feet from the basket.
I think he was too far. Here comes Culver.
He was certainly too far to see anybody outside.
Do I need to get between you two? My goodness.
Here comes Francis. Odiase, long 2, uncovered, no one there. Rebound by Poole.
He'll give him that shot all day long.
Here comes Poole. They'll pull up. He's a very important offensive player for Michigan. When he's on, Michigan usually is on.
Well, there's no question about that. And he's a guy from Michigan who can make tough shots, but you don't want to take tough shots unless you have to.
Well, this defense is swarming on both sides. Who can make ugly shots?
Switch on defense. Now Teske's got Mooney into Odiase, and a foul. Matthews is in there clawing at the thrashing moves of Odiase. And the foul is on Matthews, who picks up his first for the Wolverines, and 10:22 to go here in the first half.
When the ball moves from side to side and you're in your secondary action, that's when both these teams are going to have to look to be aggressive. It's not the first play that you call. It's the second and third action on these plays is where these teams have to be looking for their offense.
Reggie, you're absolutely right. You got to move the ball and move players against good defenses.
Culver missing on the shot. It goes to Simpson. They'll take it the other way. In the Sweet 16 for the 3rd consecutive season, Michigan. Simpson against Mooney, cuts the other way. Livers, who had a great game in Des Moines last week, down to 64. Here comes Simpson. Thrown away with 7 on the shot clock. 6 turnovers for Michigan. Mooney on the fly with a 3. And Matthews chases it down. The shooting has been ridiculously bad. Texas Tech 2 of 15. Michigan 3 of 12. Simpson. Poole. 3. No. Rebound. Leaping inside and grabbing it. The Red Raiders, Terry Goins.
0 of 8 combined for both of these teams from downtown.
Matthews trying to knock it away and almost succeeded. Off that baseline, that'll drop in by Brandon Francis.
Someone made a shot. Hold on. Someone made a shot.
Now that's what you have to do. When you have an open one, you've got to take advantage of it. This defense by Texas Tech, they're doing a great job pressuring Michigan.
Well, the world's best 5 for the coveted green jacket, a tradition unlike any other. The Masters, April 11th through the 14th on CBS. Teske will check out. They're going to go small. Livers will now play the center with Brazdeikis, Matthews, Poole, and Simpson, the other guys on the floor for Michigan.
I think that's a reaction to how overwhelmed Castleson seemed to be the first time he was in the game.
So Livers has it. And off to Simpson.
There's nothing doing on the inside. Texas Tech simply isn't letting them in there, so they put in another perimeter shooter.
Odiase back in for the Red Raiders. Shot clock is at 4. Poole backs up on Moretti and takes the 3. Rebound inside. Chased by Brazdeikis. Lost the ball inside. Corprew had it. And now it's off to Davide Moretti.
14.
Well, you have to survive if you're Michigan until the shots start falling. I don't think you want to fall too far behind this team.
Corprew. Moretti. 3.
The first 3 for either team by Moretti. Driving kick situation. That's part of the secondary play I'm talking about. Once you can move the ball side to side, that's when you can get into that action.
Matthews lasers it inside, and Poole was cutting well.
Great back cut there by Poole.
But Texas Tech is switching everything. Every time Michigan sets a screen on the ball or off the ball, Texas Tech is switching everything. And Poole took advantage of it. They were in the middle of a switch, and he just went back door.
Corprew on top. Tariq Owens over Poole. Rebound retrieved by Brazdeikis. Simpson the other way, one of the top assisted turnover men in the country. Off balance, it's Matthews who couldn't get it to drop, and Moretti the other way for the Red Raiders. Texas Tech has gone 4 of 18. Michigan has gone 4 of 16.
I'm loving every bit of this defensive matchup. We knew this coming in. This is all about will. This game is about will.
With a runner on the fly, no, off the baseline. Francis can't get it. It's Brazdeikis and Simpson.
And there's no transition to be had in this game. Each of these teams doing a great job getting back on defense.
Jordan Poole, a sophomore from Milwaukee. Brazdeikis from outside. Owens defends. A 3. Rebound by Odiasi.
Brazdeikis 0 of 4 now from the field. He does have 4 rebounds, but he has really struggled in this tournament to score the basketball.
In that second round, Reg, you're right, just 5 points against Florida. 6.5 to play in the half. Losing it, Francis inside. Brazdeikis takes it. Here comes Poole and off to Simpson.
And when you get a turnover, I think you got to push the ball. Both teams have to do that.
Livers, 3. Rebound by Tariq Owens.
Well, we know power went out here. Are there lids on the rim as well?
6 to play. Moretti. Corprew off balance and got it to go. And Texas Tech is on top by 5.
Well, Michigan just can't get the ball close to the basket.
Brazdeikis pushing the issue right into Tariq Owens.
There you go. That's what Brazdeikis has to do. Now, of course, Texas Tech, their defense does a great job drawing charges, but that quick move, the defense wasn't able to get set.
Ready outside. Once again, Owens has it, the transfer from St. John's. Francis and Brazdeikis. Stolen by Simpson. On the move and fouled as he was off to the races by Brendan Francis. Well, we can do dog ears or dog scoring, but it feels 10 points is like 20. Let's step aside. The winner goes to the Elite 8.
Welcome back to Anaheim, where Texas Tech has a 3-point lead over the Michigan Wolverines with just over 5 minutes to play. This Texas Tech team back in the Sweet 16, looking to get back into the Elite 8, but they are playing with a chip on their shoulder, and their head coach, Chris Beard, reminds them of that chip every day, reminds them that no one picked them to do well in the Big 12, picked them to finish last. Yet they are back here, and there are 3 things he says they need to do in order to win. Reminds them of it all the time. Be the most disciplined in the tournament, whether it's boxing out or just getting your tickets on time. Be aggressive, because the more aggressive team will win. And guys, have more fun than everyone. We saw it at practice, and I can tell you this, when they showed up here at the arena, the music was blasting loud for all to hear.
Dana, he is the 2-time Big 12 Coach of the Year in his 3rd season at Texas Tech. He lost 5 seniors off of last year's Elite 8 team. He got some kids to transfer in, and he's built them up again to get to the Sweet 16 again.
They'll fall back into a 2-3 zone.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think now they've switched back to the man-to-man. They just showed that zone.
Teske 3. Brazdeikis had it, lost it. Moretti steals it inside. The tournament low for both teams for a first half, 20 points. We may
shatter that.
We may. ...
Oh my goodness.
4.5 to go. Culver, Conference Player of the Year. Brazdeikis on him.
And that's what Culver can really hurt you. If he's going to shoot the jump shot, I think you let him have that shot. You try to contest it, but you cannot let him drive by you to the basket, because he'll kill you.
Here's Xavier Simpson. Brazdeikis on the wing. Culver's got him defensively. Shuffling across.
Wow.
Got it to go.
And how about the uses of that right hand there by Brazdeikis?
Well, they say he does everything with his right hand except play basketball, but obviously he can play basketball with his right hand too.
Ambidextrous. Plays left, rights, and eats right-handed. 3:50 to go. 3, Culver. Rebound by Poole. Teskey with a screen. Odiasi is on Poole. Down low. Whoa. Teskey was shoved, and Mooney may have picked it up as Teskey hits the deck. Rosdale gets a moment. He's going to have to manufacture points. His long stuff isn't dropping, but inside grinding away and churning out a deuce.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Marriott Bonvoy. Rewards reimagined. Gatorade Zero. Get more out of zero. And by GMC. We are professional grade.
Back in Anaheim, watch every game live on your phone, tablet, computer, and favorite streaming device with March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. The game's leading scorer, Moretti, with 5. He has 1 field goal. The tournament low for both these teams in a first half is 20. Teskey is at the line, a 61% free throw shooter. And his emergence has been a big part of Michigan vaulting to where they are. As improved a player as John Beilein's probably have from one year to the next.
I don't think there's any question about it. And Kevin, I think he can be literally a big factor in this game. He misses both of the free throws, but with all the switching that Texas Tech does, they're going to be able to find him inside if they take care of the basketball and are tough against the guy guarding the ball.
Each team shooting 27%.
Say that again.
Each team shooting 27%.
Oh, goodness.
It's Jarrett Culver. Tripled. Francis. Shot clock is down to 8. It was knocked away momentarily by Matthews. Now the shot clock is at 3. Mooney spins, fires. Oh, he got it to go. Every basket that falls now is a celebration.
Didn't I say whatever team can score ugly? That was an ugly possession and 3 by Mooney.
Did that bank in?
It banked in.
How about that? Matt Mooney, a graduate transfer from the University of South Dakota. Matthews spinning, finding Teskey inside with a flush.
And there's the switch you're talking about. And you have Moretti trying to guard Teskey down low. Look for the 7'1" guy.
And you had Matthews being tough with the basketball.
Here's Moretti. Culver. Fake. Fires. Buries it. It's a 2.
How about that fake? Fake like he was going baseline. One dribble to his left and pulled up.
He's got 6.
And the way he's taking the ball to the basket, you have to respect his ability to drive. You got to give him something.
Simpson and Moretti approaching 2 to play in the first half. The winner will take on Gonzaga Saturday. Matthews, 3. In and out, rebound by Odiasi. He's got 4 rebounds. He
had a nice double-double last time out.
Odiasi was a first-team All-Big 12 selection for a second time. Mooney on top. Teskey will follow. And Simpson remains. Foul, Michigan.
I was running from the Michigan bench. The coaching staff begs to disagree.
Simpson, number 1, coming up on AT&T at the half. First half analysis and an update on Oregon, Virginia. Plus the latest NCAA tournament news. All coming up from our CBS studios in New York. The AT&T at the half.
Michigan is a team that scores 34% of their points from beyond the arc. They're 0 for 9 tonight. And they've missed some open ones.
And they shoot 35% on the season.
It's Culver. Chiseling, working into Matthews. Matthews tips it away on the missed shot. And off of Michigan.
At least a team made it to 20 points here in the first half. Can Michigan follow suit with 1:20 left here?
Texas Tech had 14 Big 12 wins. That's a conference record. Outside shot will not drop. Rebound by Brasdakis.
Coach Beard wants Culver to pump fake and drive the basketball.
Brooks. Looking around the Teskey screen. Coaching a minute to go. Brooks the fake and a foul. It's inside. It was away from the ball.
Well, now, Texas Tech is a team that commits a lot of fouls, particularly if you're going to switch like that. You got to battle big guys inside with smaller guys. That's when it happens.
It was on the freshman Kyler Edwards, who picks up his first 1-1 for Teske after all the games were over. Ernie Johnson, Seth Davis, Brendan Haywood, Candace Parker, and Notre Dame head coach Mike Bray. All the highlights and analysis on Inside March Madness presented by Buick, only on TBS.
Kevin, these are opportunities. Even though he's not a good free throw shooter, you're desperate to convert these opportunities.
Teske's had 5 double-doubles in the last 9 games. Texas Tech is led by 6. Michigan is led by 2. Final minute first half. Defensive vice strips by both teams. Moretti off the glass and on the foul. Davide Moretti, he's got 7. And a timeout taken by Chris Beard and Texas Tech. With a nice move. Back in Anaheim, the law is their battlefield. Don't miss the series premiere of The Code, Tuesday, April 9th, after NCIS on CBS. Dan, with Michigan, we knew coming in limited, consistent offensive answers. So John Beilein has kind of had to work on this offense by committee routine. I mean, it's gotten them 30 wins. They've been terrific, but it shows a little bit in games like this.
Well, they sometimes go into these offensive droughts, and they've had one throughout the entire first half, and it's not surprising against a really good defensive team.
Poole got in the air. That's always trouble. Tried to pass. Turnover, Michigan. They've got 7. They average 9.
That's a perfect illustration of the way Texas Tech wants to play. They don't want you to get into the middle. That's now 7 turnovers for Michigan.
Texas Tech began the game 2 of 15. Since they've gone 7 of 12. Moretti threads a bounce pass inside. Culver got it! Right off the glass.
Looked like he may have gotten off with a push-off on Teske. Nice concentration by Culver.
Biggest Texas Tech lead. Here comes Simpson. Final seconds, first half, and a timeout taken by John Beilein. Will step aside as well. Wolverines will have it. 7 seconds to go.
Team, bring it in. Bring it in. When I think of great champions, I think of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. They cut down the nets year after year. Highest ranked in the nation for servicing 5 consecutive years, and 9 years as the #1 in primary mortgage origination. You could say all they do is win, 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 no matter what. Push button, get mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans.
Show your love for your favorite NCAA team with officially licensed fan gear. For the best selection of team apparel and accessories, head to ncaa.com/shop. Talked about what Texas Tech lost coming into this season. Michigan lost 3 1,000-point scores, including Wagner. Here comes Simpson into Odiashi. Hooks it off. No good. Rebound by the leaping Tariq Owens, and we are at halftime. Michigan has just set a new tournament record tonight with only 16 points. Michigan's all-time NCAA tournament record, low points and a half, 18 points against Holy Cross, 1948 to Dana.
Thanks, Kevin. Coach, you're holding Michigan to an all-time low in a first half in a tournament game. Is this what you expected, to be able to exert your will defensively like this against them?
Yeah, I was just thinking we should give our defensive coaches raises, and we should really have a talk with our offensive coaches at halftime. No, this is a grind-out game. Michigan, one of the best defensive teams in the country. We think it's going to come down to the final possession.
You talked to us so much going into this one about making shots and taking advantage of each possession. You've been able to do that at least down the second half of the first half. How do you get more of those shots in the second half?
We just got to calm down and, not turn the ball over and share the ball and trust each other. We're going to get some shots in the second half. We just got to make them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Chris Beard, the coach of the year in the conference in the Big 12 for 7 years, was an assistant at Texas Tech under Bob Knight. He moved around a little bit, and he's got this program up in one of the prominent programs in college basketball. By the way, over on TBS, Oregon and UVA. We take you to AT&T at the half after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship on CBS.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Google Cloud, the official cloud of the NCAA. Orange Vanilla Coke. Yeah, you heard that right. Infinity. Empower the drive. And by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the NCAA.
Texas Tech Red Raiders up by 8. The Big 12 champion. Kevin Harlan, Dan Bonner, Reggie Miller will check in with Dana in just a second. What makes Texas Tech's defense, Dan, so rugged, so good?
Well, we've seen today they've been switching a lot of screens, but they also play great team defense. And let's take a look here. Here's Tariq Owens. He's guarding Xavier Simpson out of the perimeter. Now, he's 6'11". And watch what he does. It's very simple. He just goes in to the lane and circles back. Simpson goes in, and he comes out. Odiasi goes with Simpson, and now he's covering up on Poole. Poole realizes he's got a big guy and turns it over. 7 turnovers for Michigan. 0 for 9, Reg, from three-point range.
So where can they manufacture offense? We heard the guys in the studio talking about they would like to see Michigan maybe run a little bit more. We know they're a very deliberate team, but maybe trying to get some easy ones in transition.
Dana, what do you have?
Kevin, I talked to Coach Beeline coming out of the half, and he told me right away about the 7 turnovers, that they can't afford to just give the ball away in a close game like this. It's what he preached to the team yesterday. It's what he talked about with us. But he did tell them coming back in this one, it is just 2 points at a time. You're going to turn the ball over. You're going to miss shots, but it can't be bad turnovers, and it can't be bad shots.
Into Teskey right here, fouled by Odiasi.
Yeah, but an 8-point lead really feels like 16 or 17 because the both teams are so good defensively.
Right, but if Michigan can get the ball to start going in the basket, particularly from 3, Kevin, you're right. They play at a slow pace, and when you play at a slow pace, if you're going to score enough points to beat a good team, you've got to make threes, and you can't turn the ball over. And it helps if you make free throws.
Right.
Michigan 16 points, a season low for a half. Michigan has not hit any threes. They average 8. They're 0 of 9. Texas Tech, when they have a lead, 21-1, a lead at halftime. They've only lost 1 game out of the 22.
Teskey now 2 of 6 from the free throw line.
And he's the only Wolverine who's been to the line.
Moretti on the side for Mooney. Drives into Simpson. This is the biggest Texas Tech lead.
Well, if you're Michigan, you got to start putting the ball in the basket, or it's going to get really hard. You're going to start pressing, taking really bad shots.
Poole, and now Matthews. This is a 3, and this is an air ball.
But Matthews is not a three-point shooter. 31% on the season, but Mooney, this is the way he started the game, driving into the lane, using that height advantage on the jump stop, shooting right over Simpson.
Mooney again takes it in the middle. That's where Simpson is, and that's where Mooney shoots. It's Brazdeikis.
He's got to get going offensively. Brazdeikis needs to look at the basket and be aggressive.
Matthews taking it into her there. Deflected once again by the great quick hands of Texas Tech.
They are so active defensively.
Moretti. They keep track of deflections. We heard it in practice yesterday. And all the things they were working on, all the mechanical things have come true so far.
Including low turnovers. They only wanted 4 in the first half, and that's exactly what they got.
Moretti. It's Mooney. Moretti tees one up from 3.
What a pass, and that was an actual drill they did yesterday as well. Drive and kick.
The drive by Brazdeikis inside, hits the deck hard with a foul on the Red Raiders.
And this is very interesting. You draw the defense, and then you kick it out to Moretti. Now, he is a really good three-point shooter who has not shot the 3 well so far in the tournament, but he's made a couple now, and you leave him alone, you're really running a big risk.
Brazdeikis at the line.
Ignas Brazdeikis at the line, shooting 2.
18-11 to go. In the second half, Coke is introducing delicious orange vanilla Coke and orange vanilla Coke 0 sugar. As Odiasi picked up his second personal foul.
Deshaun Corcoran is in the game for the Red Raiders, replacing
It's a small lineup here now on the floor here for Texas Tech.
You're right. They bring in Deshaun Corcoran.
Odiase on his way to the bench here. So maybe this is an opportunity for Michigan with Teskey.
Las Vegas is 77% free throw shooting. Both teams made the Elite Eight last season. And they're scratching and clawing and grinding and digging for everything they can get tonight to get back. Culver, hold on. It was Owens going up high on a feed from Culver. And the ball knocked astray in 16 on the shot clock.
That's one of the plays that Texas Tech runs for Owens, but that pass was very poorly thrown. Tariq Owens is a really good leaper, Reg, but not that good.
One player is in double figures. That's Moretti, who's inbounding the ball right now for the Red Raiders. Culver averages about 20 a game. He's got the ball. Conference Player of the Year. The defense by Matthews and picked up by Prostakis with a foul. And it goes on Tariq Owens, who picks up his second.
Well, that was a bad shot there by Culver. I thought he forced the issue there. He's much better facing up, allowing his athleticism. And I believe he's probably going to hear this from Coach Beard on his way to the bench.
Mooney in for Beer for Culver. Got a 29-point game against Northern Kentucky. In the round of 64. Matthews athletic.
Out of bounds. Turnover.
Bad pass.
Number 8.
Tough pass, I should say.
Well, he got in there, and that's exactly where Texas Tech wants him to go. He's down there on the baseline under the basket. He's surrounded by 3 guys. There's very little he can do.
Like that number 9 for turnovers.
That's what they average a game.
We got 17 minutes left.
Ready, doubled into Tariq Owens, who puts it down. Skywalking with a big-time flush.
And that's what it normally looks like with Moretti. How high did he get up? Great pass.
Matthews spins on Mooney. Pocketed by Mooney. And the Red Raiders are running. 3 on the fly. Oh, he's got the stroke. Moretti has been a flamethrower. 4 threes.
See what happens when you get a little home cooking. When you got mama and papa and baby bro come to visit you, you find your game, Stella.
First of all, they went up high, and Owens climbs the ladder. And then Moretti rings one up from 3 for the Red Raiders. And now AT&T takes us above the rim for one of the best plays of the night. Turned in right there by Tariq Owens.
Oh, high he threw it up. Let Owens uses his athleticism to go finish. What a nice run here by Texas Tech.
Owens spent his freshman year at Tennessee, then went to St. John's, where he led the Big East in block shots for 2 years. Grad transfer to Texas Tech. Boy, has he put his fingerprints on this defense. And right there, skying with the best of them in offense. And here comes Simpson. Zigzagging on Mooney and picked up by the aforementioned Owen.
Every shot is a tough shot. Texas Tech is contesting everything. And on the other hand, Texas Tech has also gotten hot down here on the defensive end. On the offensive end, they're shredding this Michigan defense.
On a 14-2 run going back to the first half, Texas Tech. Culver back in, lasers it into Mooney and spins on Simpson. Stripped of the ball. Here comes Poole. No one in double figures for Michigan. It's Simpson who shed one defender. Lasers one inside. Prostakis got hammered. Ball is loose and picked up by Culver.
I believe that was Owens with the block shot. You said he led the Big East while he was at St. John's, showing that athleticism.
Here he comes again with a jackhammer off that baseline. Tariq Owens. 10 of Texas Tech's 12 second-half points have come off Michigan turnovers. Taking advantage, and Owens is flying, coming in hot, going up high. UC, the winner, will take on Purdue, which won an OT over 2-seed Tennessee by 5. Here, Michigan has not hit from the field in almost 7 minutes.
Kevin, they've only attempted 3 shots in this half. They've turned the ball over 3 times. They have 3 shot attempts. They haven't made one yet.
There's that matchup zone by the Red Raiders.
Poole tries to corkscrew for 2 and does.
Everything, though, is a struggle offensively for Michigan. See how tough Poole had to work for that?
And if that's the kind of shot you're going to get, if that's the kind of shot you're going to make, it's going to be a long night. It's already been a long night for Michigan.
Well, Buffalo found this out last week. Buffalo was held 28 points below their season average when they took on Texas Tech. Teske reaching in, picks up the foul. He had the big 7-1 center against the point guard for Texas Tech, number 1 on Teske.
Well, he gets called for a foul coming across the arm of Moretti. And how good has Moretti been tonight? He's got 13 points. He's got 4 assists. He's got a steal.
He's been great. Reggie mentioned this earlier, fueled by his family, surprising him with a trip in from Italy. Culver with Livers now in the game. Simpson will watch Mooney down low. Shot clock is down to 6. Owens 3, no. Missed it all and caught inside. Michigan's got it. It was caught by Poole. Here comes Simpson. Brosdakis. As Michigan's trying to speed up their offense, you can see it. Into 2, Brosdakis, Teske, Simpson, the pump, the drive, and back out to Teske for 3. Owens the rebound.
0 for 11 from beyond the arc now. And again, this is a Michigan team, the pace at which they play, they've got to make 3s to be able to score enough points to beat a good team.
Long shot here, no good by Deshaun Corprew.
There's still a lot of time left in this game, though. Michigan is also a team that can get hot.
You need some 3s, though, as you just mentioned. Some easy baskets, and everything is a struggle.
Brosdakis tries in the 3, gets it off to Teske. Brosdakis finishes up and gets the 2.
Owens with another block here.
But Michigan is 9 of 32 for the game, 28%. Culver, Moretti. He'll drive and put on the brakes and hit the mid-range shot. Moretti is off to a terrific start in this game. Moretti averages 11. He's gone 5 of 5, and he's got 15.
And again, this is a guy who has struggled so far in the NCAA tournament.
Good fake by Simpson. Out delivers. Here is a 3. And a rebound by Culver.
There's a lid for that 3-point line.
I can't tell you how hard it is to keep up your intensity on defense if you just can't make any shots on the offensive end. Eventually, it starts to affect you, and it may already be affecting Michigan because Texas Tech has been shooting the ball pretty well of late.
Michigan, 0 points outside the paint.
Poole reaching in, picks up a foul, trying to lasso the conference player of the year, Jarrett Culver. Poole will pick up his 2nd. You can see the Big 10 and what they've done in this tournament so far. They had a record 8 teams that got into the tournament to begin with. And Matt Painter and the Boilermakers going to the Elite 8 for the first time since 2000. And what a drought that has been stopped. After 19 years, they finally make it back.
Well, they got up big versus Tennessee. Give Tennessee and Coach Barnes a lot of credit. Found a way to take it to overtime, but Coach Painter and the Boilermakers finding a way to advance.
Moretti. Poole comes out on it. Chris Beard talks about March basketball, saying every possession is so urgent. There's a whistle as the drive was being made. And that is the theme for Texas Tech. They call it March basketball. Foul on Poole, number 3. And you can tell. And Texas Tech plays this way for their coach. Every possession is played with urgency.
Well, how many times, Kevin, yesterday did we hear Chris Beard say, take a March shot?
Yes, a lot.
And we also heard him say, play within your own character.
Well, they lost in the Big 12 tournament to West Virginia, a team which was not as good as certainly the conference regular season champion Red Raiders. They were struggling, and they put stickers from the coach on their phones, and it had the date, the score, as a reminder of that game and what they lacked. They're just now taking those stickers off. They're playing so well. Odiase gets it outside. Edwards with a three. Good! What a shot, Kyler Edwards, a freshman from Arlington, Texas.
Kevin, Michigan can't make any shots, and Texas Tech has started to make some tough ones.
Well, they're a plus 15 from the three-point line. They're 5 of 13, where the other team is 0 of 12 from downtown.
Inside, Matthews knocked away by Odiase, and there goes a foul on him. Odiase will pick up a foul. It is number 3.
And a lot of times, if you're not making three-point shots, the best thing to do is take the ball, take it into the lane, see if you can get fouled and get to the free throw line. And Michigan hadn't been to the line that much today either.
Here's Matthews at the line with 12:18 to go. Matthews 2 of 6. This on 2 threes. First free throw tonight. Who delivered the Buick expectation-shattering performance of the day? Tune in to Inside March Madness presented by Buick and find out.
And one other thing, how often does Xavier Simpson get completely taken out of a game? And that's, he hadn't made a shot. He's got 3 turnovers. He's only got 1 assist. He's only got 1 rebound. And he's a guy who generally, he's not going to score 15 points a game for you, but he gets 8 or 9 points. He has 8 or 9 assists, and he rebounds the ball very well.
Yeah, but it's just not Simpson. Brazdakis 3 of 9. Matthews 2 of 6. Texas Tech has taken out this starting 5 in this whole Michigan team.
Little full court pressure here. Pat Mooney from Waconda, Illinois. Went to Notre Dame High School. Played some college basketball at South Dakota. After starting his career at the Air Force Academy. Cover inside. Edwards almost lost. He did lose the ball and was fouled. Edwards hit a triple moments ago for Texas Tech. A 4-star recruit bangs one home from outside for the Red Raiders.
And we've highlighted the struggles from the three-point line for the Wolverines. Is there a lid on the baskets here for Michigan? Wide open threes. 0 of 12 from downtown for Michigan.
Well, you can see exactly what Texas Tech did to the first 2 opponents they faced, Northern Kentucky and a red-hot Buffalo team.
And the Buffalo team averaged 80 points a game, and Texas Tech just shut them down. And Michigan, you can see 41% on the season, only 27%. That's overall tonight. Again, Reggie said they've missed all 12 of their threes.
Matthews had picked up a foul as we were going to break. Matthews has his second. Pat Mooney's got the ball up high. They sneak it into Culver. Oh, beautiful reverse, and he pulls a Houdini.
I told you this kid has crazy athleticism. I mean, that is a quick move on the baseline.
He is as highly rated individual player as there is in the game, and in this tournament, Brazdakis on the move, and a foul counted for 2 as he was chugging off the wing and got it off the glass.
Look at this quick move here by Colbert. A couple yellow jerseys come over, just a little kiss.
Win the basket
off the backboard, and Iggy finally getting one to go. Straight line drive.
Brazdakis at the line. Culver picks up his first from Oakville, Ontario, Canada. With Moretti back in, and they take out the freshman Kyler Edwards.
Michigan's got to go on an offensive run soon to get this thing within striking distance.
Are they built that way, though, Dan? I mean, my goodness. I mean, we know they score by committee. Does Beeline, and they're a better offensive team, certainly, than maybe the numbers suggest, but wow.
Yeah, but they need threes to get back in this ball game. And they're going to need some turnovers, and right now, only 5 turnovers for the Red Raiders.
Nice perimeter passing. Around the horn it goes. Francis 3, no. Rebound Owens contorting his body. Vacuuming it in. Here comes Culver to the rack. Wow.
Well, number 1, the reason why they got that extra possession, let's give the effort to Owens getting that offensive rebound. And here, again, You may not have never heard of his name, but this kid is next level ready. Jarrett Culver.
Welcome to the dance. He's just hard to stop when he gets going to the basket.
69% free throw shooter from Coronado High School in Lubbock, Texas. He stayed home. Chris Beard recruited him, got him to go. And he's been a part of 2 Sweet 16 teams. This Texas Tech team made the Elite Eight a season ago, trying to go for a second consecutive year. Brosdakis. And he's got Culver on him. Shot clock is down to 9. Livers with a screen. And again a deflection. Exactly what you thought. I'm right, exactly. I mean, they disrupt the rhythm. Matthews a drive, Culver the foul.
That's a rare defensive mistake we've seen from Texas Tech because Michigan was really on their heels. But Culver, Reggie, this is what you're talking about. The first Texas Tech player to win the Big 12 Player of the Year. Look at those numbers in the NCAA tournament. Only one game he hadn't scored.
Do you know who else has averaged those kind of numbers? Here's the kind of company with that 22, 9, and 6. You see right there, guys like Dwayne Wade, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Bill Bradley, Oscar Robertson. Those are the kind of guys that have those kind of numbers that this Culver has been putting up.
Next level ready. This kid does it all.
Crossover Simpson. Corner 3, Matthews. Owens the rebound.
0 for unlucky 13. I mean, this is...
But you got to dig in defensively, and I know how hard that is when none of your shots are going to the basket, and this guy, wow, and this guy's just taking it to the basket. How do you stop that?
Wheels for 2. He's slippery, he's elusive, he can grind, he shows the grit.
And he's very good defensively as well.
Cool. Brosdakis. Leading scorer just hit that fadeaway from mid-range. He's got 13. Culver has scored the last 7 for Texas Tech. They lead at 48-29 over Michigan.
April 18th is National Piñata Day, but you don't need to put on a blindfold and hit a papier-mâché unicorn to get stuff you want. Just become an AARP member. Your AARP membership comes with access to more of what you want, like learning about the latest tech, health tips, nights out at local restaurants, help planning your getaways, and more. So take off the blindfold and join today, because, you know, it's easier without the blindfold. There's lots of stuff in there, and today could be your day to explore it. Learn more at aarp.org/benefits.
Want more NCAA tournament info? Hey Siri, show me the Sweet 16 schedule.
So this is the schedule, I think. No, we're not going to put it up. Anyway, we got some good games tomorrow night on CBS and TBS. We'll show you those here in a couple of minutes. Mooney taking it the other way just beyond the halfway point of the second half. It's been all Texas Tech.
And that last basket by Brosdakis is the first basket outside the paint. Think about that. That's the first basket outside. Oh, my goodness.
Culver was going up, and Livers met him at the apex of that drive and a foul. It's on Livers.
Well, Michigan State is running out of guys who are trying to guard him. Everybody they put on him, he goes right by. Somehow you've got to move your feet and make him a jump shooter. You know he wants to drive it to the basket, and Michigan they're really struggling.
How many times are we going to say that tonight? Michigan is really struggling. I'm going to give more credit to Texas Tech because during practice yesterday, first of all, let's say this.
We watched all 4 practices.
I've been doing this 9 years, the college tournament. That was the best practice that I've ever seen of all the teams that we've seen over the last 9 years. Personally, my opinion. Chris Beard, his staff, his teammates, the way they were connected with one another and the attention to detail. He was firm when he needed to be. They had fun, as Dana alluded to, with the music blaring. But when it was time to teach, everyone was locked in. And it's showing.
And actually, the Beeline practice was almost as good for Michigan. Brosdakis doubled and puts up a floater. Missed it, out of bounds. Texas Tech's ball.
Reggie, I agree with what you said, but when the ball doesn't go in the basket, it's hard to look good, and that's the problem. And Texas Tech has had an awful lot to do with that.
Thank you.
Totally disrupted Michigan's offense.
And let's give them credit.
But Michigan hadn't made any baskets.
That's not Texas Tech's fault.
Culver. It's Francis across the lane. Another nice shot by the Red Raiders. Francis has come off the bench to give him 4. He started his career, Francis did at Florida for Billy Donovan. Xavier Simpson splits the D. Knocked away. It's alive, and it's taken by Texas Tech and Culver. Shifting gears with the spin. Owens going up and fouled. Matthews.
Michigan foul is on 1.
Number 3.
Kevin, the Texas Tech offense is really rolling now, and a lot of it comes from their defense. That turnover, they're pushing it up the court, and when Culver gets the ball in the open court, if you can't set your defense against him, you're really in trouble.
Well, this Tariq Owens has been around. We mentioned back in the first half. Began at Tennessee, then went to St. John's and played there a couple years. Finishing up now as a senior with Texas Tech.
And I'm shocked. Michigan has had a Michigan has had a fantastic season. If you'd have told me they had 29 points with 8 minutes and change to play, I would have looked at you crazy.
Brazdeikis. He's got 15. That's what he averages a game.
Michigan has to figure out a way to get some stops. Texas Tech has been scoring at will the last few possessions.
That man has.
Culver is 17 points. Moretti's got 15. Brazdeikis, the only Wolverine in double figures. He's got 15. Culver with the shot clock down to 5. Mooney, 3. Once again, it goes down. Running it rip and finding the bottom of the nylon.
Brazdeikis gambled, didn't come up with the steal. Wide open shot for Mooney.
But Culver was the guy who made that happen.
Charles Matthews, the dive, and an offensive foul. It's been all Texas Tech on both ends of the floor. Scoring, defense, the right recipe, it looks like, to go to the Elite 8. Texas Tech has turned the ball over 1 time in the last 17 and a half minutes. And you can see with that kind of close to the vest play and getting the 12 points or 12 turnovers over Michigan and getting to 13 points. There is the Moretti family, the dad Paolo, the mom Mariolina, and the brother. They surprised. We're going to have to show this clip. Maybe we'll save it for Saturday night. But they surprised their son in a meeting last night here in Anaheim, and he was brought to tears, not knowing his family, who had not seen him play all season long, as a sophomore from Bologna, Italy, would even be here to cheer him on. And sure enough, here they are, and boy, has he responded. Hitting 3-point shots, a perfect 5 of 5 from the field, 15 points, 4 assists, not a single turnover, and engineering the offense with precision tonight for Texas Tech. Mooney left open, 3, no, rebound Poole.
And so Culver, now that he's drawn 3 guys every time he drives, he's finding open teammates.
Brazdeikis has 17. The last time that Michigan went a whole game without making a 3 was 2013 against, and I hate to say this for Wolverine fans, Michigan State.
Now Michigan trying to scramble around on defense now, and that's really the only option you have left. You've got to try to force some turnovers, take some chances.
Mooney with a 2-point shot, rebound Livers. Brooks, Livers, Matthews, the transfer from Kentucky. He'll put up a 3. Another miss. Brazdeikis punched it outside. Matthews got it and slices with a foul.
Think about it, some of these threes aren't even close for Michigan. It's not like they're going in and out. I mean, these are bricks being put up here by Michigan.
Again, I'll point out that Matthews' three-point shooting is not his strong point. He's the guy who scores in the mid-range, drives the ball to the basket, but the Texas Tech defense understands that. They're leaving him open from out there, and he can't convert.
Matthews scoring. And he did have a 22-point, 10-rebound performance in the first round against Montana in Des Moines last week. But really, his scoring the last 8 games, 7 games, has not been that great. He has averaged 8 points, shot 35% from the field, and 21% from 3. Tonight, he's got 7, 0 of 4 from beyond the arc, and he's gone 3 of 3 from the line with 4 rebounds.
Well, he had that ankle injury,
yes,
and it took him a while to come back, and then it's tough to get your conditioning back. And Matthews, we saw last year in the NCAA tournament what an important cog in the machine that he is. He averaged 17 points and 7 rebounds in their run to the championship game, and then he only scored 6 points in the championship game before fouling out. So he's a critical factor, and he has not played well tonight.
Mooney was second. Team all Big 12. Already back in. We just show you the mom and dad. Back pedals, puts up another shot. First miss tonight with a rebound by Brostakis. Brostakis with a 3. No. Livers got the rebound, tipped it back. Simpson kicks it outside. Poole. Under 6 to play. Poole spinning, gyrating, can't get free. Simpson will take it in with the hook. Now that isn't even working, and normally that thing is dropping.
Simpson, and let's give a lot of credit to Mooney and Moretti. They've been a blanket over Xavier Simpson. 0 of 5, 0 points.
Culver, rebound by Brostakis. He's collected 12 rebounds, so he's got a double-double. That's his 3rd of the season, but he loses the ball at the other end.
Culver not giving up on the play. Missed the lane at the other end. Raced back in to get back into play and come up with the turnover.
Texas Tech coach Chris Beard has 5 NCAA tournament wins in 2 seasons. He's circling over his 6th right now. I mean, it can't be overstated. What a nice dive inside for 2.
Who else?
Jared Culver puts it up and in. He is terrific. He's got 19 points.
Remember this name, because this young man can get it done.
Well, he's just putting on a show. He's accomplishing anything he wants, taking the ball to the basket. In the first half, he took a couple of jump shots, and they didn't go. But in this half, almost exclusively, he's been driving the ball to the goal, and he's had great success.
Now, we told you earlier he was the Big 12 Player of the Year. He is only the 5th underclassman in that terrific Big 12 conference who has gotten that award. Others include Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, Marcus Smart. I mean, you're talking about the elite. And he is a sophomore, won the award, and Livers had that ball deflected by Owens. Dana, what do you have?
Guys, you're talking about Jared Culver, and tell me if this sounds familiar to you. He is the youngest of 3 very athletic brothers, so you learn how to play like this, playing with the older guys. Trey, a 2-time NCAA champion in the high jump at Texas Tech. His middle brother is a junior basketball player at Wayland Baptist in Plainview, Texas. So I think a few of those friendly games probably taught him some of what he's got out there today.
You're right. Matthews in and gets it from Poole. In fact, his brother won in 2016 off of Dana's report in 2017, the NCAA Indoor High Jump Championship. Moretti and Francis and Mooney fires one out to Culver.
How many turnovers did Chris Beard say he'd give his guys?
8. I think he said 8.
4 in each half.
Well, they've only got 5 total.
If only we had Tom Brady for Michigan and Patrick Mahomes of Texas Tech. We might be able to keep our audience. We have a timeout. 4 of us are jinx or what in our games. We cannot get a close game. Here, it's been Texas Tech. And they've done it every way. At the line is Tariq Owens. Michigan's all-time low in points in an NCAA tournament game was 45 back in 1948 against Holy Cross.
That was before the shot clock and before the three-point line. And
before basket. No, here comes Matthews into Owens. Ooh, clobbered him across the chops.
They may take a look at this.
Dana, we send it to you.
Guys, if Michigan fans are looking for a bright spot, we know the Beeline family has at least one today, and it was something that Coach Beeline couldn't wait to tell me about yesterday. You're looking at Patrick Beeline, his son, and he was the coach at Lemoyne College for the last 4 seasons. Took him on 3 tournament runs, and he was named Niagara's new head coach today. So a D1 job from the D2. But this is where it gets interesting. I was talking to Patrick. You have to remember, John coached Lemoyne. That was his D2 job, and then he went to Canisius, which is around the Buffalo area, and also in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, just like Niagara is. So Patrick just couldn't help but notice the similarities following in his dad's footsteps. Learned a lot from him, playing for him, also coaching with him. And as you guys have referenced, as we've been covering Michigan, John really, with his family, is so involved, even during tournament runs like this. So taking a lot of pride, obviously, with his son moving on now to Niagara.
That's a great story. John was a walk-on at Wheeling College, and he went from walk-on to a senior captain. There's not a finer man in college basketball than John Beeline. Here comes Culver by midcourt after a little bit of hesitancy getting it across. And right now, they really have no senior that's going to graduate because Matthews Quigley even tested the pro waters. Oh, look at Culver sailing from the wing and rock the rim and give them 22. So they could have the entire group back at Michigan. Brooks will drive. Knocked away by Owens. Wow, what a rejection.
Owens has controlled the paint all game long. I mean, this is just spectacular rotation over here by Tariq. That's special.
Well, again, they try to force you out of the middle, down the side of the lane, not going right down the lane, and Owens just comes over and helps out. And we mentioned he is a tremendous shot blocker. It's hard to get the ball all the way to the basket against these guys.
It's Poole with 2, and he's got 8. Poole averages 13 a game.
Kevin, a lot of people speculate that Iggy Brazdeikis might test the NBA waters.
That's a turnover. And only the 7th.
Kyler Edwards back in the game for the Red Raiders.
I still got one to go there.
He does, yes.
for their quota?
Yeah, but that turnover is going to be charged to Brandon Francis, I think. And Francis was the guy when Chris Beard asked him if he needed a turnover. Francis said no.
Xavier Simpson rolls outside. Poole will let it launch.
Is there going to be an over-under if they're going to make a 3 within 2 minutes and change?
0 for 17 right now. Wow.
I say they make a 3.
I'm not a man of playing games of chance there, Reg. Here comes Moretti. But what I can tell you is this. It is going to set up an Elite 8 game on Saturday with one of the top 3 offensive teams in the country against the top 3 defensive team. It's going to be Gonzaga and Texas Tech, and it should be terrific with a missed 3 right there and a rebound by Matthews. And Michigan, which has won 30 games for a second consecutive year, Brazdeikis letting it fire and a rebound by Edwards. Will bring back the majority of the team. But Brazdeikis may test it, but
it's been a great year for Michigan, and that's part of the problem with the way your season ends in this tournament. They've gotten blown out, and that's ends the season with a sour taste in your mouth, but that doesn't take away anything from the great season that Michigan has had.
15-5 in conference play, and Moretti missing the 3. Rebound Brooks. Michigan began the season 17-0, equaling the longest winning streak and the best start in program history. And then they reached number 2 in the polls, and for 4 straight weeks they were there. As they bring in now Brandon Johns, who was one of the top recruits in the state. He's a freshman from East Lansing. Finished number 2, Johns did, in the voting for Mr. Michigan basketball. Here's Matthews at the line. The all-time tournament record for three-point attempts without a make. 0 of 15, the St. Louis Billikens in 2014. A standing ovation from the Michigan fans for that group. They'll finish at 30-7 overall and take in a chance to reflect, but build toward next year, which could be terrific again for a team that just last year went to the Final Four. And for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, they bring in Moretti, they bring in Owens to the bench, and they answered every challenge their coach gave them yesterday in practice. Matthews at the line.
Kevin, there's no question, and you mentioned it now, they get to face Gonzaga. And, you know, the guys from Gonzaga got to be thinking, again, you know, they really had to play hard against Florida State, a really good defensive team, but Florida State isn't as good a defensive team as these guys are.
One thing that Gonzaga does have going for them, very little turnaround and prep time for Texas Tech.
So by midcourt, Avery Benson, who's a freshman from Springdale, Arkansas, hands off to Francis. Out there for Michigan, they've got Brandon Johns. They've got David DeJulius, who is number 2 in voting for Michigan's Mr. Basketball. Defending right there is Austin Davis with a long shot which won't go, and the rebound by C.J. Baird, who is a walk-on. C.J. Baird was the student manager. DeJulius has it right now. He'll be the next guard in this rotation. Former student manager Baird with it. Looking down low for Davis. And out of bounds it goes in 33 seconds to play.
Parker Hicks, Andrew Sorrells.
Very disappointing end of the season for Michigan.
Sure is.
But they got to the Sweet 16.
Well, and again, they had a great season.
Yes.
Kevin, you mentioned they won the first 17 games. That was something that nobody expected with the losses from their team last year.
Andrew Sorrells will come in for Texas Tech, a junior from North Riceland Hills, Texas. Also, they get in Malik Ondigo, who's from Arizona. With the ball right now is Andrew Sorrells. And let's see, I want to make sure we get all these kids. Parker Hicks is in from Decatur, Texas. He is coming the game for the Red Raiders. I think I've got everybody accounted for. Let's see. Oh, and Josh Mbala from France. Where I know they're watching with a good Bordeaux right now. On March Madness Live. Baird, 3. And he got it to go in. Baird did. Over. That's their first three-point shot. Baird hit it. He was a 2-time captain at Detroit Catholic Central High School. And the walk-on puts it in. His other shot that he made this year was a 3. That was against Nebraska earlier on. And that'll do it. The Elite Eight is set. And Texas Tech will, for a second consecutive year, be a part of it. The Red Raiders steamroll Michigan 63-44. Michigan has matched the all-time tournament low points by a number 2 seed with 44. Gonzaga, Texas Tech set for Anaheim in the West Regional Final on TBS on Saturday. Dana, take it away.
Kevin, thank you. Coach, you were giving the defensive coaches a raise at halftime. You can give the offensive coaches a raise now. How well did you execute your game plan against this Michigan team?
Yeah, we wanted to have a low turnover game, and I haven't seen the stat sheet, but it had to be 8 or less.
7. You said 8,
yeah,
and
perfect.
you got a 7.
That was good, man. I thought we guarded. You know, everybody was dialed in. We had so much respect for Michigan. I thought our guys defended at a high level today.
When you go up against Gonzaga next, the guys were talking about it towards the end of the broadcast, but you've got one of the top offenses in the nation against one of the top defenses. Which wins out?
Is that who we play next? Yeah, we just go one game at a time, so we'll celebrate this for about 5 minutes, and then we'll get back to the hotel tonight and get ready to play against one of the best teams in college basketball, Gonzaga.
You were in the Elite Eight last year. You are back this year with this team. What is the message to them as they try to get to that Final Four?
Yeah, just enjoy the ride, not just the destination. So the best thing about it is I get to coach these guys another day, walk through tonight, practice tomorrow. I just love coaching this team.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
They're going to the Elite Eight for a second consecutive year. Last year, they met Villanova and lost. They hope for a better result here on Saturday. The Sweet 16 continues tomorrow. Doubleheaders on CBS and TBS. It all starts with the Infinity NCAA tip-off show at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. Right now, turn to TBS for number 12 Oregon against top seed Virginia. For Dan Bonner, Reggie Miller, Dana Jacobson, and our terrific crew from CBS, Kevin Harlan saying so long from Anaheim.